1 second. You can.
of Yala's family come forward in front of the Yagam to cool the Mother Agni Devi to give her the prasad in the form of the coconut, the tree, and the banana, and thanking her for guiding us and for being the strength that she is as Agni Devi, and for having given Muruga Perumal the world which is called the, what well is it? Sakti well. Those of you that are Muruganara, page 67, Tirupugar, Saint Arvagiri Nagar, Sinathavar Muriko. Gave me a good sage for that other song, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the vibration. Sarvagam, Anigavadi. Vetrivel Muruganekku. You diss me, Jodi. Why is not being you good enough? You can? I need to speak to the chairman or the secretary launching the Guru. Veeravel Muruganekku. Kandavel Muruganekku. Sinathavar Mudikko. Pagithavar Kodikko. Teguthavar Uyarko. Sinamaga. Piripavar Namakko. Padipavar Tamakko. Tirupugar Nirupendo. Arivonyo. Sinathavar Mudikko. Manasayum Murukko. Sisikaru Marukko. Siravavar. Tirupeyum Yerikko. Murupeyum Yerikko. Muripugar Urikko. Jayatara. Tan. Tago 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 tan. Taneveri. Taru taru taru. Sinitori Murukko. Tanatore Narakko. Morutore. Sinateyum Murukko. Karithamale Mutto. Siridaya Kolokko. Sarirvela. Sirakari Kurupe. Kanasaya Suguten. Tirutani Irukko. Tirumale. Perumale. Perumale. Vetrivel Muruganekku. Veeravel Muruganekku. Kandavel Muruganekku. Arogara. Ganga Yamuna Sindhu Kaveri Godavari Narmada Saraswati ஏழு புண்ணிய தீர்த்தங்களை புரோஷித்து அக்னி தேவிக்கு இந்த பிரசாதத்தை சமர்ப்பணை செய்ய கற்பூர தீபம். Just stand around there, just stand around there. Just block that. கற்பூர தீப அக்னி தேவிக்கு கற்பூர தீப. ஓம் சக்தி
பராசக்தி
ஓம்
பராசக்தி
சமர்ப்பயாமி சமர்ப்பயாமி. வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு. வீரவேல் முருகனுக்கு. கந்தவேல் முருகனுக்கு. Move the banana one side. Move the banana one side. Fold the beet leaf with all the powders on it, and with that betel nut, tambulam. Fold it, fold it. Watch it, don't get burned. Right, drop it in, drop it in. Drop that betel leaf in first into the fire. Get him a paper to wipe. Then drop the banana after that. Take the banana, take the banana. You on the tray, Kamala. Drop it in. Right. Drop of milk very lightly on the flame, very lightly to cool down Agni Devi, very lightly. Right, okay. Right, give that to Ashni. Water. Om Ganga Yamuna Sindhu. Water. Join. Ganga Yamuna Sindhu. Samrani. Om Samrani Samarpayame. Samrani Vasiye Potri Taye Potri. Om Ammaye Potri. Samrani Vasiye Potri. Om Taye Potri. Om Turandariye Potri. Momo, you got big budget for that, don't worry. You can give us extra budget. And you get? Right. Now turn. கற்பூரதி வெற்றிவேல். No, no. That's okay. Turn. கற்பூரதி வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு. வீரவேல் முருகனுக்கு. தஞ்சவேல் முருகனுக்கு. ஓம் சக்தி. ஓம் சக்தி. ஓம் சக்தி. ஆதிபரா சக்தி தேவியே. Straight here. Straight here. Straight inside. Straight to the people. Right. Thank you, devotees. Back to our service group, and then we will get ready to go around the temple one round. Carry on. கந்தவேல் முருகனுக்கு.
மன்னாலும் திருச்செந்தூர் மன்னாவே ஒரு மரமானாலும் பரம்பொருளோடு மரமாவே மன்னாலும் திருச்செந்தூர் மன்னாவே ஒரு மரமானாலும் பரம்பொருளோடு மரமாவே கல்லானாலும் கல்லே கல்லாவே
Just direct Bruce there, please, for the test of this. Right, dear devotees, at this juncture, we will call on our Periyar, Professor K.G. Modley, who is the author of the book who's the author of the book amongst other books, Murugan Arlog, very appropriate for this temple, for this prayer and Muruga worship. So if you haven't bought your copy for 50 Rand, it's a steal, it's a bargain. You can't get literature like that for that price, for the amount of work that's gone in. And I myself, you would have noticed, you make use of that very book, Murugan Arlog. So with that, hand you over to Amadiput Korea Periyar to address you this evening.
My humble prostration to God in all forms and names, and today particularly in the name of Muruga. Greetings to all of you. Anbulla Vanakkam, Pram Namaskar, Pram Namaste, Om Sai Ram, and any other greeting that you would wish to have. Acknowledgements, we want to acknowledge the Guru conducted the service, Guru Samandan Sadhugesa, who conducted the service this evening, and also we want to acknowledge the sponsors of this prayer today, that is Tregi and Joyce Munsami family. They are not strangers to this temple. They have come here many times. So many times I forgot Joyce's name. So anyway, they not only come here to Kavadi and to this prayer that is Skanda, Sasti, Kavasam, but this family donates to this temple every month milk, sour milk, and other items which the temple needs for doing Abhishek. So it's a very long and good association between this Munsami family and this temple. So that message must go to everybody that the temple is here. They say in Tamil, Kovil Uril Kudi Irka Vendam. That means we must not live in an area where there is no temple. But when there is a temple, there must be people coming to the temple. There must be people coming to pray. You can't have a temple without devotees. So this family have brought a number of people, their own relatives. I can't mention all the names, I don't know all the names, so I don't want to guess who they are. But we thank them and we'll ask for Muruga's blessing on all of them. Now, the next thing is that before I call upon the speaker, we have a speaker from the family. But before I call upon the speaker, I want to acknowledge the men in white sitting on this side of my family, of my hand. They are the Phoenix cultural friends. They are our friends. They are not our enemies. So, friends in many ways, because as I was saying in the last few times that I spoke here, that our culture must be carried on from generation to generation. This Murli family has done a lot for that. And now the groups that are coming here, like the friends of Finnish cultural friends, you're helping us to keep this going. So please, may God bless you all of you all to. Alright, so somebody in grey, sorry, I didn't see you. Alright, all of you, we thank you for coming here, being with us, and rendering music to the glory of Muruga. So, Muruga will bless you. With that, I want to now call upon the speaker. And before I call upon the speaker, I want to say that this family does what I like families to do. That families that pray together, stay together. So they have this habit of praying together and staying together. That's why so many of them came to the temple today. And they set a good example. But they also set an example for their children. They teach their children to do the right thing. And the daughter, his name is Aishwarya. Sorry, I'm getting old now, I forget things. So I don't carry paper, it doesn't look nice to read from a paper, so I take my chances and try to remember. Alright, all of you are going to get old. Remember that. Alright, without any much ado, Aishwarya, please come and give your talk. Just adjust the mic for this.
Nandri sir, Kali Vanakkam everyone. This evening I am going to talk to you about God as light or Jyoti. Saint Ramalinga composed a song of over 3,000 lines called the Arupperum Jyoti Avaga. It is based on the science of the human body. Aru means grace, Perum means great, and Jyoti means light, as our Guru has said. Arupperum Jyoti means the great light of grace. Arupperum Jyoti is part of the Maha Mantra of Saint Ramalingam, namely Arupperum Jyoti Tanit Perum Karune, meaning God is the great light of grace and the embodiment of unique mercy. Long before Saint Ramalingam, Saint Manikavasaka has said, Adiyam Andamam illa Arupperum Jyoti, meaning that God Siva Peruman is the light which has no beginning and no end. Praise in Sanskrit also refers to light. For example, the Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yona Prashodaya. God is dear to me like my own breath. He is the dispeller of my pains and giver of happiness. I meditate on the supremely adorable light of the Divine Creator, that it may inspire my thought and understanding. Also in Sanskrit, we have the mantra from the Upanishad, Asatoma Sadgamiya, meaning lead me from untrip to the trip. Tamasoma Jyotirgamiya, lead me from darkness to light. Nrityorma Amritam Gamiya, lead me from death to immortality. The festival of Deepavali, Kartike Deepam, and Vishnu Alya Deepam all have light as the main focus of worship. Why is this so? The light from a lamp shines equally in all directions. In the same way, God gives grace to all of us in equal measure. Whether we receive it in equal measure depends on our personal commitment to the divine path. Daily prayer at home by oneself and group prayer from time to time will help to keep us on the divine path. So please, make a commitment to join us at all our prayer functions at this temple. Nikananda.
Well done for the young girl, only in grade 8. So it shows the interest is there, things can be done. So we want to encourage all the parents here to get your children to understand about our religion and talk about it. With that, I want to say, family will did some prayer today. I came to sponsor our prayer today. Actually wanted Guru to explain something. I don't want to take the wind away from what Guru has to say. So now it's over to the Guru to give a special explanation of their concerns about a certain matter. Over to Guru Samban.
மிக்க நன்றி to Periyar அவர்களுக்கு and to Acharya for a beautiful deliverance. Very, very immaculately delivered. Was very succinct, and I'm sure all of us understood what, besides having Jyoti here, what the real Jyoti is about. Right. With that being, let's give them another round of applause. I think they deserve it. Joyce told me the harder you clap, the more the peace you'll get from the food. Right. அன்பு மிக்க பெற்றோர்களுக்கும் சகோதரர்களுக்கும் இந்த இரவு நேரத்தில் நான் குரு சம்பந்தன் சரோகாசர் உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய உள்ளம் கனிந்த வணக்கத்தை செலுத்துகின்றேன். Humble salutations, வணக்கம், பிரேம், நமஸ்தே, நமஸ்காரம் to one and all. The request was made to explain a terminology that gets bandied around very loosely when death befalls a family. And the word I'm referring to is called Titu. Very loosely used without knowing the reason, the context in which it happens, and how it all came about. Now I am fortunate that I had a guru, my late father, Vidwan Kumar Sarugasar, who has left with me a lot of old literature, and one of it is called the Jubilee Dictionary or Agaradi, which was published in the year 1935. So this book, Agaradi, didn't come up today. There's gone up, ex-student of our father, shaking head. So this dictionary today is 87 years old. So that is the authority I'm using to give you the meaning of the word T2. According to this Jubilee Dictionary or Tamil Per Agaradi, it says that T2 is Maranam. In other words, it comes about as a result of this. Maranam is death. Prasavam, when a lady gives birth. And when a girl comes of age. Pondravatral Yetpadam Asuddhamana Nilavai. Meaning that pollution or loosely put a very unclean environment that comes about as a result of death, childbirth, or a girl coming of age. There's also another dictionary of recent times called the Lipko or the Lifco Dictionary. Lifco stands for Little Flower Company. The first dictionary was published in 1966, which makes it 56 years old. And the second publication was in 1968, more recent, makes it 54 years old. So even this dictionary alludes to what the Jubilee Dictionary has explained as T2. Now, let us not ridicule our forefathers for having believed in T2. Their belief was rightly placed at that time, I'll explain why. But carrying that today as a belief is like carrying a coal to Newcastle, where they don't need coal. Or trying to put a coal train on the railway line which is not needed anymore. So we're trying to do something that is not necessary, that doesn't fit into today's era and requirements. And because somebody said, somebody heard, and somebody is carrying on with that belief system. When death happened in the olden days, go back even 100 years, whether India or whether when our settlers arrived here, when death happened, we didn't have. So in other words, T2 means a dirty environment, unclean environment. When death happened those days, we didn't have Phoenix undertakers, we didn't have Marinil undertakers. I'm not giving them advert, okay, you get? Right? We didn't have touched by the angels, fancy undertaker that is, alright? Or any other undertakers that you know of. We didn't have those undertakers. No undertakers. We didn't have morgues and mortuaries to take the mortal remains of the beloved and go and place it in the cold storage. We didn't have. Where was the mortal remains placed? On the floor in the home of the family of the deceased. Intense heat in summer, 32 degrees, 33 degrees, the body would lie there. Now the second challenge was, so the first challenge was no undertakers, no mortuaries, no cold storage. The second challenge was we didn't have four-wheeled vehicles. We traveled on the train, we traveled on rickshaws, we didn't even have buses, and we went on tram lines. So with the result, the family members who were living far away from where the death happened needed to travel. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the phones that Telcom is producing, right? We didn't have communication system. It had to be done by what's called bush telegraph. I told Shan told Sage told somebody else, And by the time the message got to the person was 3 days old. Now what happens to that mortal remains on the floor? It starts to ferment. It starts to give off bad bacteria. And those that came into contact with that body, what happened to them? They will touch, they will wipe, so the fluid that comes out, Jyoti is a pharmacist, not me, but I'm giving you what the rationale was at that time for T2. So the family members would pick up an infection from the mortal remain and all the waste material that comes out of the body. That's a natural chemical process. Right? As a result of that infection happening, they were precluded from attending gathering like this. Don't go to the temple. Don't go to this place. Don't go to this gathering. Made sense, didn't it? That was the word T2, because there was a little bit of that uncleanliness in their home with that family, or even people that went to that funeral. If they touched the body, they could also pick up infection. So it was a very dicey period that time with not having all these modern facilities. The funeral only took place around day 5, day 6. By then, can you imagine what was the state of the mortal remains, especially on a hot summer's day? So therefore, that period and that time, the situation was referred to as T2. Today, once the person passes on, even at hospital, we call the undertaker, the family calls the undertaker. They go into the hospital, they take that green bag and they remove the mortal remains of the person that passed on. A day or two later, the undertakers bring it back in fresh condition because it was put in a cold storage, which is regulated by the health department. Shan will tell you, he worked for the local authorities, he'll tell you of the rules and regulations that had to be followed. So with the result, where's T2? Is the T2 in there? Where's the uncleanliness? Nothing of that sort. But yet today we want to practice the same thing our forefathers were exposed to. That was rightfully so. Why today? Why are you cutting and pasting? That's something not relevant. Why trying to put coal into electric stove? Why trying to feed coal into electric wires? Won't work. So that's T2. Right? Then they tell you when somebody passes on, Prarthana Sayada, don't pray. God will whack you. Don't go to the people. Don't pray. And yet, you know what's the contradiction? It is said food for the body, prayer for the soul. That soul needs more prayer then, because it can't pray for itself while it's making the journey to Sivalogam. We all need to come together and pray. That's why there's the 3rd day, the 5th day, the 7th day. Then there's the memorial service, 15, 16. They do the 3rd month up to 1 year memorial, because we don't want to abandon the soul. The prayer for the soul, Prarthanayodo, and the Atmavukku Mochagadi Alika Vedam Endru Nam Pratipam. We shall all pray together that the soul reaches the abode of Sivalogam and attains moksham, attains liberation. And prayer talks about it all the time. So we need to understand that's the purpose. So staying away from prayer, staying away from temples, then don't break coconut. But even the 3rd month prayer is being done, we break coconut. But in the 1 year ceremony we break coconut, but in between others mustn't break coconut. Now these are Mudathanam. Mudathanam means being led by the nose, not applying our common sense. Buddhi is a combination of intellect and common sense. And today, we are lacking that common sense approach. Periyar will tell you as well, everything is not in the book. Even the mantra, the chant, the prayers I do, and certain things we do in this temple, not in the book. We learned through experience. We learned through trial and error. So therefore, carrying this through to our younger generation is falsehood. We are confusing them. And what are they going to do tomorrow? They're going to turn around and they're going to go to another institution because they're getting fed up with us. In Hinduism, we're practicing more don'ts than do's. Others say, the child gets scared. The child goes into a shell. We must encourage our children and enlighten them. I said, the light The yagyam is enlightenment. So when are we going to enlighten ourselves? You know they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed is the king. You heard that saying? Acharya? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed is the king, rules supreme. So we got self-appointed gurus. One amma who didn't even read the scriptures will tell you, Sayada, Badro, Kovil Povada, Aga Pratna Sayada, Tanga Vadikada. You know what? God will whack you. And yet God is a loving God. Loves us unconditionally. Karunai Ulla Kadavul. In that song, Sankaranayana Kovilile, what it says? Tayin Karunai Nirendirukkum. The more the mother gives love, the more the love flows out of the mother. So like that, God is the loving God. Doesn't stand in the corner and whack you for every wrong you do. God gives you the rope. And then when you go a little bit shami is in your mind, He pulls you and He starts to put you right. Okay, so this idea of Tita, this idea of don't go to temple, don't break coconut, you get it from, I call it self-appointed gurus. In every community you'll have 1, 3, 4 ammas who will tell you don't do this, don't do that. Ask one amma, tell me where is it written? Illa, your party sonanga, I said my party poitago, leave her in peace. Don't disturb her soul. You're disturbing the party, she's having a good sleep. Party sonangla, ya sonanga. Then I said, when I'm finished with the prayer, I'll tell you, because that lady was doing something and she stopped it. Oh yeah, the lady was a widow, she mustn't come. And the wedding, mustn't come on stage and do anything. Right, that's another story for another time, that'll take another whole chapter. I don't want to keep you. So this thing about T2 is irrelevant now. And it's not something we should be following, we should move on. Right? And therefore I'm saying, we need to educate our children. To educate somebody, you need education. I can't give somebody who's thirsty a cup of water. I have to have it to give it to you. So it says in Tamil, Katka Kasadara Katpravai Katrapin. In Tirukural chapter 40 verse 391. Katka Kasadara Katravai Katprapin. Nitka, pause, think, digest. Adakku taga. Learn what has to be learned. Learn without fault or error. And thereafter conduct yourself accordingly by imparting the knowledge learned. I'm not saying I know everything. In Tamil it says, or Periya says, Kattadu kaimanalavu katkadadu kadalalavu. Why kadalalavu? Kadal is the ocean. The ocean is 3 parts. Bhuma Devi is only 1 part. So what we have to learn is still as vast as the ocean. What we have learned is tantamount to a handful of sand. So we can all learn. We must continuously learn till we breathe our last. With this, Vedi Petru, Nandri Selthigindren, and thank you for having listened to me. Right. Let's give our group stage. We're good for 2 more songs. We're going to do more songs. I don't know you came on the program.
I will do this one.
2 more songs. And do you all want to do another window or do you want us to do another window? Let me share. Alright. How many songs?
2 songs.
2, right, fine. Now we don't want to cut you because you came here so far. We want to give you the time. A weekend tomorrow, so people are not hurry. Dear people, before I forget, tomorrow's OBM has moved from 10:30 to 9:30. Remember, we changed our format now. We don't allow the bhajans to carry on during the yagyam because we had some people that gave the opinion. Therefore, we will only start the service after the yagyam. Mataji will be here tomorrow. We already advised the Jyoti Amarat that we will only allow them after yagyam. So tomorrow we're starting at 9:30, right? And we got the governor family doing the yagyam tomorrow. And today once more we want to thank Joyce, Pregi, Maksami and Sharia family and the rest of the family for being here with us and our group from the
Phoenix Cultural.
Friend.
Yes.
Mika Nandri, God bless. 2 more and then Nadavindra, you want us to do that?
Yes.
Oh, you already?
Yeah, he's ready.
Oh?
He's ready.
Okay, fine. We like that. We enjoy that.
Yes.
Okay. Vetrivel Muruganakku. Viravel Muruganakku. Kandavel Muruganakku.
Murugawa.
Namo
2 more things to the talk again. When a ceremony is done, we pray to Ganesha, we pray to the Kalasam, we do Yajna. What difference do we do here? You know, the Kalasam, we got the Lingam. And if, God forbid, this is cycle of life, we all have to go one day. In a family, 3 deaths happen in 3 consecutive years. When are you going to pray? When are you going to come to the temple? Then Muruga will stand by the gate and say, I don't know who you are, I didn't see you for 3 years, I forgot. Can you give me an ID card? I want to see who's entering my temple. Maybe, I may sound disrespectful, you know, people sometimes you got to give harsh messages, and our prophecy is good at doing that. Harsh messages, because that's reality of life. Then we can remember and we can turn the corner. With this, please stay for supper, and remember tomorrow you have a date with Muruga for 9:30, and we want to see all of you. Let us all rise, and our group will sing Nadavindu. Can we have our Obial family to the temple? Come that way, sir. Come that way, ma'am. Come round. போற்றி. bring it outside bring it. எண்ணாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
கல்லாபிரியம் கருணாபிரியம் கசுந்தருகி நெல்லாபிரியம் நிலையாபிரியம் எண்ணெழுத்தே சொல்லாபிரியம் துளியாபிரியம் தோழாபிரியம் எல்லா பிரியம் பொறுத்தருளாய்கள் சேதமணியே. அமைதி அமைதி அமைதி. ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Repeat after me. எல்லா உயிர்களும் இன்புற்றிருக்க நினைப்பதுவே அல்லாமல் வேறொன்றும் அறியோம் பராபரனே. அன்பே சிவம் சிவமே அன்பு அன்பே சிவம் சிவமே அன்பு அன்பே சிவம் சிவமே அன்பு. ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Let's bless the food and do the food prayer. Follow me. Chant, you know this prayer, no stranger to this. ஓம் இறைவா எங்கள் உணவுக்கு நன்றி. எங்கள் உடல் சக்திக்கு நன்றி. எங்களுக்கு நோயற்ற வாழ்வும் குறைவற்ற செல்வமும் தருவாயாக. இன்றும் இந்த உணவை தயாரித்த கரங்களுக்கு நன்றி நன்றி நன்றி. நம்முடைய முன்சாமி குடும்பத்தினருக்கு நன்றி நன்றி நன்றி. முருகா துணை 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 போற்றி. ஓ நமச்சிவாயா. சாந்தி. ஓம் சாந்தி சாந்தி சாந்தி. பூமாதேவியே போற்றி. மிக்க நன்றி. Thank you. தன்யவாதமுலு to one and all of you. God bless. Please have supper. And we pray that Muruga will take you safely on his vaganam to your destination and back tomorrow at 9:30. And to our service group, Mikka Nandriya, continue the good work. Sage to you under your coordination. We got them here and Mikka Nandri. God bless.